Dream versus Ryung.
The Axiom player starts at the bottom left of the map in blue. It's his map choice. It is Yonsu. Ryung here with a loss on Daedalus point going into that second game against his Terran opponent. Starting to the top right, we have Dream, starting here for Team MVP, of course.
Fast and quick Terran.
Yeah, that Viking spread that he had in the last engagement against Ryung on map number 1 really won him the game there.
All those Seeker missiles instantly.
Exactly, the Seeker missiles that he launched, they did so much damage. Ryung tried to basically do the same thing. He also Seeker missiled as much as he could, but against
couldn't get a good shot off with the spread, yeah.
Yeah, the spread that we had for Dream was just so good that it didn't do the splash damage that he wanted to go for. And Ryung, within the first few seconds of the fight, lost, I think, 15 of his Vikings. There was so much that he never had a chance to go for the kiting that you mentioned. With all those additional battle cruisers, of course, to soak up damage and then also do the DPS, it was nearly impossible for Ryung at that point to win that battle.
If he gets a decent trade or he wins the Viking fight, then he can kite, as long as he has, 15 to 20 Vikings left, but he just never had that. And, I said it right before the fight, if he's clustered, no chance. The battle cruisers, like you mentioned, are going to tank a Seeker missile. I think he targeted actually 2 battle cruisers Seeker missiles. His battle cruiser was like, well, so what? Not going to run away from the Seeker missile, I guess, but it's not gonna care too much if it gets hit by it.
Both of the players in this game are going for the gas early, but we have Dream with a faster one. He goes into gas before barracks, whereas Ryung, on the other hand, started his barracks and then went into the refinery. So a bit more of an aggressive build for Dream here, but still both of them deciding to go into into tech units first. And for Dream, that's the Reaper here.
Yeah, the Reaper is going to come over and scout. Looks like Ryung's just going to go into Marines to defend, and then a factory, just like we saw in Game 1, actually, almost mirrored. Same spawning locations as well, Ryung to bottom and Dream to top. And we'll see if he actually tanks. Well, he's not going to be able to tank with the SCV because he just lost it, so the Reaper's not going to be able to accomplish what he did in Game 1 to try to hurt those SCVs. I also don't think we're going to see that cute little Widow Mine move out this time against Ryung either.
Oh, that did so much in the first game. I nearly forgot about that. That Widow Mine hit was really key. He was doing so much damage with his Banshee afterwards, and also, of course, when he took down those all those units at the beginning, Ryung was forced in a very defensive position. Well, right now we have both of them expanding, so not really all that much aggression. I thought really with the gas first he was trying to be a little more aggressive than that, but he at least takes down one of the SCVs here.
This is huge. He delays the command center and scouts it. Double purpose there. And he starts his CC on the low ground, so that's really nice. It's going to be harassed by an SCV, but this Reaper is going to say, oh, you made the wrong choice, man.
Yeah, that SCV goes down, so 2 SCVs killed already.
He's actually going to get another one.
Yeah. Gets another SCV and delays that command center even more.
This is going to get into Ryung's head a little bit too.
Yeah.
And guess what? Now there's going to be 2 Reapers over here, and he might even be able to do it one more time. I think he should be able to. It's going to take a lot longer to make that CC. He keeps his Marines there. So Dream's like, okay, I know you're going to keep your Marines here to protect your SCV, so I'm going to go in the main at a different location. And then he's going to have a good angle to poke at the Marines and then get out. Such a great play here by Dream. Really nicely done. Oh my god. That is impressive play right there.
He does a lot of damage there. That's 5 Marines that we currently see, but those Reapers are just going to use the combat drugs, going to go up to full HP again. He can try to do that once more. And now we're in a position where Dream can really think about just going for the second gas that he has and investing that into Banshees once again, because Banshee play would really do a lot here. And it looks like he wants to actually jump up into the main base, and at that base over here again goes down immediately. But in the mineral line, another SCV might just die to this. And will.
But he loses minerals to repair, and we'll lose the SCV anyways. Oh, does not save the Reaper this time.
But 4 Harvesters killed, and the Harvester count is now 21 against 24. The command center faster for Dream, a lot faster for Dream, and he has it already on the low ground. As is a great start into the game for the Terran player for Team MVP, and he's already ahead in the series. He needs just another map win.
Yeah. Well, this is a game where Dream takes an early lead, gets into Ryung's head a little bit, starts stim. He's going into bio again, but this time like a very fast stim. And we'll see how Ryung responds. He is getting his own Hellions out. Looks like he's going to go into either a Raven, like we saw last game, or his own Banshees. And the thing about the Harvester count is that, yeah, he's 5 up, but the bigger problem is not landing that orbital for so long, and his orbital was delayed, so less time with 2 mules. So these little things just give Dream this extra boost in economy. which going into a heavy army in bio is going to be great for. He makes 2 Widow Mines again.
And there's still no saturation at that second base, so that comes into play too. He needs to transfer some SCVs over there, or at least start to saturate it, and that's a lot of mining time, of course, lost then as well.
He saw the Viking, then just ignored it. And here we go. Hellions go in here. The Reaper actually can do some harassment at the main base. A bit of a mismicro there, dropping the Hellion on the low ground.
Oh my god, he gets even more SCVs there because Ryung is busy in his main base. The Reaper finally taken out at the natural, but the units that were over there, but in the main, even more units went down. Harvester count is 22 against 34. He lost 10 in total here. Lost even more now. 11.
Down to 23.
That is starting to add up so much. If you are 13 harvesters behind your opponent, that is just messing with you, especially as there is now another base even being built.
Yep, this one Hellion for Dream that didn't get dropped in the main base is really sad. He couldn't do damage, but he actually will escape for a little bit longer. Spots this move out of Hellions.
That's an advantage that Ryung has. He has the better army supply. 27 against 13. He's nearly doubling it, and he also has Blue Flame on the way.
This little bunker wall is not going to be enough, and he doesn't...
Oh, he could commit here, but he doesn't know that.
Yeah, he could have actually even maybe tried to go into the main base with some of those. Well, he's got how many?
There's nothing.
8 in this group, 9 in total.
Yeah, but there's nothing for his opponent besides those 2 Widow Mines. That's the only thing that he has, and I think the Widow Mine was not in position when he moved in.
They weren't there in time.
So, if Ryung would have known, he could have just ran into the natural and he could have killed so much, but he had no idea. He didn't have the vision there. And he couldn't have known. The only thing that he could have done would drop a scan there. And that's something that he didn't do, so he moves back. Doesn't want to be caught off guard here, caught by a Widow Mine, caught by a Siege Tank, caught by anything. Run into a wall and then lose a few of the Hellions in the process. As is, he goes into a mech play again, of course, with the Blue Flame and also with another command center, but he's once again far behind Dream, who already has that 3rd command center and is currently upgrading it into an orbital.
Yeah, he's just staying further and further ahead. It's a problem for a meching player that you need to get up as many resources as you can early on to build this composition that can control the map and keep your opponent away from you, which is the Hellions, while you take a 3rd base and get all your gases up, because that's what you need to max out. And Ryung has a 3rd commander up now. The one advantage this gives you is in like a game we saw in the previous game, even if you're behind, if you get that maxed out army, it can be good for you. This Hellion force is way too much DPS, actually can kill that Siege Tank if it's not lifted. But Ryung, if he sits back, he will build the right composition. He just has to make sure he doesn't take any more losses. And if doing little things like this and catching your opponent and stopping his move-outs on the map can be nice. If he could go over and do damage at the 3rd base, that would be even better.
Doesn't really know about the 3rd base yet, though. But yeah, if he finds out and goes in with the Blue Flame Hellions, he can annihilate that worker force there. The income is getting really good for Dream. He has already an harvest account, and with the triple saturation here, it's going to be amazing for him. It's really just about all those Hellions. They're a massive threat to all the mineral lines that we see here for Dream. So Dream has to be super careful and have the map presence.
He keeps going up here to check because he knows this is a possibility of a threat for him. He has, like you said, the better saturation, the better worker count, and he has +1. I think he's getting +1 armor as we speak, if he doesn't have it already. This spending tab is almost useless, but there's the armor upgrade. Yeah, it's actually not even halfway done yet, but he's still getting that. The armory will line up. Can start double upgrades pretty soon.
And now he controls the Xel'Naga Watchtower. He sees that. The Hellions not going into position there. We have also for Ryung now the 3rd orbital command in position, but there are no SCVs there just yet. He's working on those rocks. At the same time, the army for Dream is starting to get a little bit closer to the main base. He could drop onto the high ground there. There are not a lot of units just yet. No Siege Tanks sieged up. He's trying to take down the supply depot first. Force opponent back. Oh my god, the Hellions here at that Xel'Naga Watchtower caught off guard and taken out.
Yep, here we go. Big force getting a concave over here as well. But there's just too many Siege Tanks in the main. He's not going to be able to do a massive amount of damage here, but he can start to, first of all, eliminate mining, then start to kill some of these depots, which is going to cost Ryung a lot because he needs a lot of supply for every unit that he makes, and now he's supply blocked. He's going into the red in just a second.
And there's also, mining at that 3rd going on. Units going over into the natural. There's nothing
he's just except ripping him apart.
Siege tanks.
He had to lift his 3rd base too.
He's 20 army supply ahead, and he's stopping on top of those tanks now.
Yep. And had those tanks not unsieged so quickly, he would have maybe lost one and some of the SCVs to friend the fire.
That harvester count is crazy. He's 30 harvesters ahead on 3 bases. That income that we see is 2,000 against 500 minerals per minute.
That
was interesting.
That certainly was. They're both like, hey, look, we can both switch modes. Watch this.
Well, here we have another
So many
drop
Mirars on top of the
tanks.
siege tanks, and this might actually break the camel's back here.
Yeah, it's just too much.
GG. Ryung will fall to Code B.
Ryung is out. He won a single map today. Dream, he takes it, and Dream goes up against Hydra again. That is the matchup that we had right at the beginning of this group. We had already once this matchup in particular, Dream versus Hydra, and back then we saw Hydra win it with a 2-1, and Ryung, he's devastated here.
Oh, he's got to be frustrated. We saw how frustrated he was before we went into Game 2, even just seeing the camera shot of him, and losing a game like this just simply to harassment. Like, I think it was one of those snowball effects where the Reapers kill his SCV, kills it again, and kills a Marine, and gets back, and comes back, and then starts picking off more units. It was just really back and forth harassment that Dream just never stopped, never gave Ryung a chance to breathe, and he couldn't deal with it. He couldn't put up with it.
I mean, we said it already before the first game. He already looked like he didn't even. Of course, he doesn't want to be in a losers match, but he looked so devastated to be there in the first place. And he loses the first map in that fashion, clustering up in the last fight and eating all those Seeker missiles. Looked absolutely devastated after the loss, and just him in the booth that really showed how he already felt, and it really got into his head. Now he's out, he's in Code B, and we are going to jump in just a few minutes into our last match of the day and of Code A in general. We have another Terran versus Zerg. It's going to be Hydra going up against Dream once again to determine the last player to go into Code S. So guys, stay tuned, and I will be back here at the GSL Code A.